Hello and welcome to Three Sisters, One Heart podcast. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Shannon.
I'm Heather.
This week we're talking all about our ancestry or our connections to our past. If you're following along with us, you'll know that last week we did part 1, which was the matriarch side of the story. We have different fathers, but we share the same mother. So this week is dedicated to our patriarch side of things. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, let's go over our trials this week. I'll go first. So this week it's been an okay week, just normal weekly grind. Though really I only had a minimal trial, and it's kind of funny. So we got our car back on the road. It's running. The engine is all set. But when we had our engine issue, we blew a tire. So we went and just got all new tires. You know, redo it all, right?
Yeah, fresh start,
yeah. So we go to get all the tires done, and it was like we had a busy day. We had to go do something with the registration for the car, and then Chris dropped me off at work, and I had work, then he came and picked me back up, and we went from work in to get the tires done, and we're, go over everything with the tire people, and they're like, yeah, the higher mileage tires, we're like, fine, whatever.
Just refresh,
And they go to put the tires on, and they're gone for like 10 minutes, and they come back, and they're like, you're missing a wheel. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm missing a wheel? Well, my dad had come over and put the donut on the car, and when he did that, he threw our other tire that was blown in the back of his truck. So I messaged him, and he was at work, and he works until like 6:30. So I messaged him, and I'm like, oh, hey, they say we're missing a wheel. And he said, shit. Yeah, he had it. And so it was kind of cool. They were able to just go ahead and put 3 on. We had to ride that donut
another day.
Another couple hours. Like, honestly, we went to the grocery store and we went home. And then I went first thing in the morning before I went to work, and they threw the last one on. So, but it was just funny. It's like, that's just how my luck is, like.
Any little thing you try to do.
Any little thing. Like, I'm not lucky. Like, I have to try hard, and then I'll still probably have some kind of something come up,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a rough week.
Yeah.
Sunday I thought I just had a little bit of head cold and figured I'd deal with this since Bobby had a head cold, no big deal. Monday morning I woke up and it felt like I was swallowing razor blades, which is pretty much my what my body is like, hey, you've got strep, and that's how I know, like, before I even have to have it diagnosed.
Just know the signs.
I went to the doctor and she was like, yep, you have strep again. This is the 4th time in a year I've had it.
You just need to get them taken out.
Yeah, I haven't had it in years.
I'm gonna talk to them about.
I had it.
That means I have to. Yeah.
Until I finally got it.
Even Mom was like, "You need to have your tonsils taken out." I was like, "Yeah, I know, but that means getting a referral to an ENT and have them say, "Oh, okay, you've had it enough," and then it'll be covered by my insurance."
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of red tape to go through.
Yeah.
I remember Mom talking about that because we always saw different doctors. We were, I don't know what it was called. It was whatever Medicaid essentially is.
So it was before we had Medicaid.
Right. I just don't think it was called Medicaid. I think it was called something else at the time. Either way, whatever it was.
Gold card.
You never know. It was set up differently where you went to it was like the health department, but you always saw different doctors. And so that's why mine went on for so long, is that there was no one designated doctor to really recognize that, oh, I'm seeing this kid again for strep throat.
Yeah, I remember having it as a kid, and I don't know if you guys recall this, but I have abnormally large tonsils. So I would go into the doctor even without strep, and we'd be like, oh, the normal checkup stuff, and I'd be like, oh, by the way, before they go check in your throat, I have abnormally large tonsils. And they're like, okay, and they'd be like, whoa, you sure you feel okay? Yes, I'm fine. They're just big. And I got strep a lot when I was a kid, and same thing. Like, I remember I had a doctor say, if you come back in here with this, we're taking them out. And then we didn't see that doctor again. And I was like, woohoo! As a kid, I was terrified of getting it done, but I haven't gotten it in my adult
because as you get older,
in years,
the harder the surgery is on you.
I know
it is, and mine was.
So that is what I'm extremely worried about.
Well, don't compare it to my situation because mine I was just really sick.
You
to
were
begin
extremely
with.
ill. Yeah,
all the time.
But so I've had
have to be
strep.
that
I'm
bad.
still not Still not feeling 100%, which is why I look like crap. I'm sorry, everyone who has to look at this.
Fabulous.
And I missed 2 days of work.
Ugh.
So it's like, okay.
That's
Wednesday
hard.
I go to work, Thursday I go to work, Friday I knew I was going to be late because I had a parent-teacher conference. Conference went great, but as I'm driving there, I noticed, I was like, man, my truck is really running rough. It doesn't feel like I'm firing on all cylinders. And I
would not have been able to get to that thought.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been like, it's broken.
Help.
And my check engine was like, hey, look at me,
Yeah.
pay attention.
Blinking,
Like,
blinking,
not just
like, this
on,
is
it was
serious.
like, pay attention,
Yeah.
don't move.
Yeah.
So I text our dad, and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. He goes, I was like, should I drive it? I don't want to kill it more. He was like, if you don't need to, or if you don't definitely have to, don't drive it. I was like, well, crap.
Right.
I worked 2 days this week.
Hmm.
My paycheck's gonna suck.
I'm a little bit jealous.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
me too, honestly.
I was sleeping
It
all
sucks to have to
Monday
call
and
out,
half
though.
of Tuesday.
Oh, that's true. You were.
I was
you
not
were
feeling good.
bedridden.
And
which is
Friday,
never fun.
I had to find ways to get ready for my graduation because I didn't have
That's
my
fine, I was
car.
Yeah.
Thankfully. Which I didn't think about asking you for a ride to work until I was sitting at home at like 10:30 and I was like, oh yeah, it's Friday, Tiffany. Oh shit, I could have went to work.
Well,
Granted,
wow.
I only
You
went.
learn.
I was only going to work for a few hours, but still, it would have been a few more hours on my paycheck. But it is what it is, and my truck is up and running again.
Is it already fixed?
Yeah, yeah.
He
That's
just
awesome.
went and fixed it this morning.
We just got the text, or she just got the text on before we came over. So.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Mine, I don't really have anything big. Either trial or triumph. Everything is kind of like, it's been a pretty uneventful week, which honestly, sometimes that is a win.
Yes, I
But,
agree. I was going to say the same thing.
If I had to say anything, I'm just completely inundated with schoolwork. I'm almost done, which is amazing, but that means the classes are getting harder. So it's just a lot more demanding. It's hard to...
But you're so close.
Yeah.
I'm so close. And less than a year left. And I might actually pull this off. Like, I feel
Nah,
like...
you will. There's no might.
I feel like almost like a fraud. Like, somebody's going to catch on. Like, nobody should be able to do this much. But it's just been a really, really long week. And I'm just behind on schoolwork. I feel like I'm always behind on schoolwork. Oh.
We're good.
We might be
I put a lot of tape this week, so it should be fine.
But yeah, that's about it for me. Just completely drowning in schoolwork.
That's never fun.
No.
All right, so I guess since I'm the oldest, I will kick this patriarch side of things off. So let's see. If we're starting from my grandmother, on my grandmother's side, we're French Canadian. So my grandmother, her maiden last name is actually Dore, and I have a lot of Canada family I've never met. I've never even been to Canada.
I have.
Well, you've been talking about... I have
Okay,
two.
no, I want to
In
go.
my defense, I was in the airport only.
Oh, no,
But it was a gorgeous
I
view.
actually went to Canada all the way.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
awesome. I want to, and I have talked about it in the past. I want to go because I have all this family I've never even met. Like,
yeah.
I have a little bit talked to. I have an uncle Serge, and he is
Surge.
Serge.
I like
That's
yeah.
cool.
And he has like messaged me on instant messaging on the computer before, but like his English is a little bit broken, so to just be like basic like, hello.
Like very generic.
Great niece, how are you?
Aw,
You know, and like
that's
we
cute.
can't get much past greetings because I don't know any French.
Yeah.
So not really. I only know very minimal French, and most of it is like, you know, parts of the body and
I thought you were gonna say
swear
like curse words.
Yes, curse words. My grandma and my aunt talk in French when they are upset or when they're trying to talk in secret, and I can pick out certain things, but usually it's my grandma telling my aunt to do something, and my aunt telling my grandma to know, like, ferme la bouche, which means shut your mouth. Which is not a swear, but it's not very nice.
No, probably
But
not
yeah,
something I would
I
say to
used
my
to know
mom.
happy
No.
birthday. I don't know a lot, but like
because you took French in school.
I did, and we talked, I think, a little bit about that last week. I did terrible, and I failed miserably. It was awful.
That's okay. I failed Spanish really, really terribly. So
you know, I can though. Like I can't speak it, but I can like pick enough of it up. Like not well, but like I can kind of pick it up through conversation, I guess, and tell what people are talking about.
Like get the tone of the conversation.
Yeah. But I can't speak it very well at all. But there is this whole other side of my family I'd love to meet at some point. And yeah, so I have a little bit of French. And then that is my grandmother's side. On my grandfather's side, I know that he was from Maine. I think they met in Maine. I could be a little wrong about that. They met, but I believe they met in Maine. And my grandfather has, on his mother's side, Italian. So I have this great grandmother. So she was my great grandmother. Or wait, one great. My grandfather's mother. One great. Yeah. My great grandmother Lenona was Italian.
I love that, Lenona.
I know, me too, so much.
It makes me want to have another baby, just so I can name it Lenona.
I don't like it enough to name it my baby.
No,
I love it. I love it so much. Anyways, it's so weird because like I've never met her. She had passed long before I was around, but I've heard so many amazing stories about her. For instance, my uncle he lived in Florida and was a Floridian, but like he loved to go to Maine because that's where some of his family is from, and that's where she lived. And she had this house, and she was a beautician and did hair, and like she started her own beauty shop. And I actually have a picture. I'll post it on the Instagram. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's really cool. It's been like, I don't know when they go back and they like put color in. It's been
I'm not
colored,
sure what that's called.
but it's mostly like pink toned. It's really cute. I love it.
Interesting.
And my uncle said always, and my grandmother too would tell me. So it would be her mother-in-law, that she was just a fiery wild woman, like very independent, didn't need someone to help her do anything, that if she wanted something done, she would do it herself. Very strong-willed, and I love it. I love hearing stories about her because of that, and I've never met her, but I feel such a connection to her, and actually I have inherited some of her things. She also was like an artist. She loved to craft, and she loved to paint, and she loved to write. I wish I could write. I can't get my thoughts cohesive enough to write, but I have some pieces from her. Like I have this like trunk full of puppets. Like she was hand making these cloth puppets, and she wrote stories and stuff to go, like scripts essentially to go with them, and she would do presentations and stuff at her church or visit neighbors and stuff and do puppet shows for the children. Although the kids think that some of them are a little creepy. Some of them are really cool and really detailed and have like little bead eyes and stuff. And then also I have a creepy...
the creepy porcelain doll painting.
It's cool.
It's creepy.
It's like a baby doll sitting at a little baby doll
it's
table.
Watching you.
Having like
wherever
tea.
you go.
I love it. It's in my closet though.
Is it one of those paintings that like no matter what angle you're at, like it's watching
I'll
you?
try to share that too. I'll take a picture and I'll try to share it on Instagram as well.
Bobby's like, "Oh my god."
I love it.
It's creepy.
I wouldn't have it in a closet if it was a little bit, it's been banged around and it's a little discolored. And it's in a canvas. So I like to frame it. It is old.
I'm telling you, there's a spirit attached to that
I'll have to check, but she was really good about dating everything. Like I have a couple other pieces from her. Like she liked to travel, and she would visit cemeteries. She liked cemeteries, and I have these.
See, now that isn't super strange to me because I would love to just go visit a cemetery.
I think it's about
our
connections to our
I know
past.
I'm weird.
No, not I.
I mean,
Count me
out. I would be up for it. Yeah. So I have these couple of pictures from her that were like pastel drawings, and one of them is a pastel drawing of this cemetery scene, and then it has inside of it a little square black and white photo of the same scene, and on the back, if you flip it over, there's this whole it's dated first off, and it says I don't know when I say like 1950 something, late 50s. I was traveling and stumbled upon this cemetery and was drawn to it, so I took this picture, and then 10 years later I revisited and I drew, or she colored, or pastel, I don't know what you call that. She did a pastel work of the same scene because she felt drawn to it, and it's dated for both things, and just handwritten. It's really, really cool. And I just
That's cool to have that kind of history. I don't have anything like that.
And that like connection, like I never met this woman, but I feel a deep connection to this person that I never met before. And like, for instance, when my father passed, my aunt brought up some stuff that was my grandmother's, and one of the things that she brought was this 2-piece dress. So it was like a dress that had a like a little jacket, and I wore it to my dad's memorial.
Aww.
And it was so awesome.
That's really cool.
And I just felt like I felt empowered. I still have it. It's like purpley colored. I don't know. It's cool. I love it. Also, something that was kind of cool about her is that she was into her church and stuff, but she played the organ in her church. But she felt like when she played the organ that spirits were talking to her while she played the organ. And so something kind of interesting. I know. I think it's cool. She's like receptive to it, you know? And so, you know, if you believe in that kind of thing. And so a lot of that side of my family is pretty religious, and they don't believe in that kind of thing, but both my aunt and my grandma have told me how creepy her house was and swear that there are spirits in her house, and have told me some creepy ghosty type stories about that house that I might have to share for next Halloween.
Well, they say that, like, I've never really, I think I'm terrified to believe in anything like that, because they say that whenever people are more receptive is like when the spirits are more active around them.
Yeah.
So
and some creepy stories.
I choose to just pretend it doesn't exist, and maybe they'll leave me alone in my own lane.
But it's just kind of interesting to me how I can never meet this woman, but I feel like I'm a part of her, or like
so
reincarnated.
Closely, yeah.
Ooh, that would, I don't know about that, but maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ooh.
The whole reincarnated Scientology stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Or a lot of religions believe in
I know. That's just the one that came to mind. I was recently reading about Tom Cruise.
So like that, okay, so that is my grandmother. So that is my great grandmother. So also on my grandfather's side. So my great grandfather, I know that our family name is Flanders, and I kind of always thought it sounded Scottish. I'm like,
it always just sounded very redneck to me.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it sounds like, I don't know, Irish or Scottish or something. But I found out recently that that's not the case. That actually, Flanders is a family name from England, but it's called Low Country England. So
it's redneck.
It's like redneck English. Low Country.
Sorry, it's fancy redneck.
I'm not kidding. I know, right? But like, it gets better. Okay, so Low Country, the Low Country of England was actually full of immigrants, and they were people that had immigrated from the Netherlands and Belgium. So I have roots in Belgium and the Netherlands, and French and German, and
everywhere.
Yeah. All very predominantly white.
I started to say like all the white ones, but I didn't want to
European. I'm like super European.
That's the one. That's the word, not just white people.
And a little bit of Italian in there too, just for like spice.
Little add that to the pot too.
We're just like a hodgepodge mutt mix.
Yeah.
But it just is really interesting. Like I all my life was just like, oh, it must be, Scottish or something. And no, not at all. And apparently I didn't get time to look. I did ask my aunt about this, about Flanders and where it came from. And she's like, in my garage in a box, our great grandmother did all of this stuff. And she traveled to England and did some research and stuff, and she's like, if you want to come look in my garage, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can take that on.
I know, that's a lot.
Yeah, I might would get lost in that garage.
Oh, is there a lot? I just mean like it's like a wormhole. Whenever you start looking into things, like
it would be really cool to later on down the line if I'm gonna do one of those ancestries at some point. I know I am. I just have to like do it.
23andMe.
Whatever one. I just want to know, and it would be kind of cool to see like which ones actually line up with what I've heard or what I know, because it's like how much can you trust, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I am all of those things, and it's kind of cool.
That is
love
cool.
It.
See, I need to delve a little bit more, but mine's on a whole different level. Like, I have never done the 23andMe or the Ancestry or anything like that. My husband has a weird thing about giving your DNA out.
Listen, our DNA is out there anyways. You got a social security card, a social security number, like, boom, the government has you when you're born.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's not be in denial here.
It's just a battle I've chosen not to fight.
Do it on the DL. You'll never know.
My husband is a huge...
That's not good marriage advice.
My husband is a huge conspiracy theorist, so...
Yeah. So I've never actually... Well, that paired with the fact that I've never really actually felt like I need to.
You've never been drawn to it?
Not super.
I wonder.
Like, I'm here and now. This is what I'm doing.
I'm a very practical...
Yeah.
This is what's in front of me kind of person. Like, whatever happened, then what happened?
You don't, like, think, though, like, wonder, like, if this trait is from this, or like, my Lenona, like, maybe a big chunk of me is from her, you know? Like, I have some similar, like...
I have particular traits. People that I'd like to look into more.
Yeah,
like my grandma, like whenever this first came up, like whenever people talk about like your dad's side of the family, I don't know, without being too, like, I don't mean to like put out like anything bad against my dad, because he's a really good person, but growing up, he was in and out of my life. Pretty much everyone on my dad's side of the family struggles with addiction. So that leads to me not knowing a lot of them, because I choose to live my life in a way that I will not.
I get that. You need to separate.
I just, it's something that I have no tolerance for. My dad has since completely turned his life around. Like, literally, like, he's like the deacon at a church.
Yeah. Like night and day.
Completely. And he's amazing, and he's doing really well in life. He has this, I credit it to his wife. His wife is amazing. So,
like a guiding light.
For sure. She saved him from the depths of despair and anything terrible you can even think of. But what comes to mind for me is my grandma Sansi.
Oh yeah, Sansi.
My dad's mom. It would have been whenever I was little. I don't think it was before I was born, but it was whenever I was little. She had, I want to say it was a stroke.
It was after you were young, but I remember when this happened because I knew her before that.
Right. So I don't have any of those memories of her before that. So like I'd like to look into it a little bit more, see if people have videos or anything like that, because what I know is that she
was a true matriarch of the family.
She was amazing.
Yeah. And
once she went through therapy and they got her to the best that they could after the stroke, because it was a very life-altering stroke. She would say what there to everything. If she wanted something, it was what there. Like, it was like kind of like the hey you or get that or whatever. So like that's always what comes to mind first. So I think it would be really cool to look into kind of who she was before that.
Do you know, so I know your dad's last name is Hanks.
Hanks, not Tom Hanks.
Yeah. No relation.
I had people, it was like every single time I had a new teacher, they're like, oh, you're related to Tom Hanks? I'm like, do you think I'd be in public school? Like, come on.
Well, and you know, Mom, because of our grandfather on Mom's side, our last name was Dillinger, or if you ask our grandma, our great-grandma on that side, she always pronounced it Dillinger, and that was from our German side of things. I would get stuff like that in school, but only from teachers, because kids didn't really know like who John Dillinger was.
Yeah.
But,
there's a movie about that. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I want to see it.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay. Is it older? Like, can I get that on Netflix?
Probably. It might be on Netflix.
Is it called Dillinger?
Basically, for those of you who don't know, way back down the line.
Something about America's, like,
John Dillinger was
bank robber,
bank robber, and we are very distantly related to all that. We don't rob any banks though.
It's not that far. He's not that far in the back. I'm just saying, like, we're not that distantly related.
Yeah, I guess it was only, 50 years ago at the most?
Our grandfather, Dillinger...
No, it was more than 50 years.
I don't know. I'm really bad with history.
Our great-grandfather, Dillinger, so not Grandpa Jim, right? His dad... he looks almost exactly like him.
Yeah.
And if you look at the men in that side of our family, with
all
the chins...
All of them have a very strong resemblance still.
Cheekbones and chins. Mm-hmm. They look so much like him. But especially our great-grandfather, they look like... If they don't look like brothers, they look like close cousins.
Wow.
And grandma, so our great-grandma, this is kind of fun, even though this is on our mom's side again, we should have talked about this last week, but grandma would never, ever, ever admit that we were related to him. Yeah. She would always pronounce our last name Dillinger to separate it.
Separate, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she always denied it, but...
Every family has a bad apple.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Which I think Mom still has. Mom has, like, an original Wanted poster, and it looks like our great-great-grandfather.
Yeah. There's no way that there's both the name and they look that much alike.
Yeah,
it's really freaky.
There's just no way.
And it's just, we got some strong genes on that side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We really do.
So yeah, my side of the family, I've never done, so I couldn't tell you if I'm more European, am I
what is
Scandinavian?
Hanks, I wonder? We'll Google it real quick.
I can't Google it. We're videoing.
You're right. Heather will Google it.
I will Google it.
What does Hanks originate from?
Yeah, origin of Hanks. I bet it's England.
Probably.
It's all England or all...
English or Dutch.
Meaning, Dutch.
Meaning son of Hankin.
Oh, good old Hankin.
Wow.
I claim Dutch.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm about as white as you can get.
So, I know.
I don't have anything interesting in me. So maybe one day I'll suck it up and see if
I still think, Heather...
I'm saying you can use my address.
You probably, on your dad's side, I think you probably do have Menorcan. You always tan so good, too. Like,
yeah.
I have no Spanish in me whatsoever. None.
Oh, that's
really?
so crazy
that
to
is
me.
Crazy. So then he must not have been. But I always feel like he had very, like a red, like, easily tannable, like, color to his skin. You don't look as red, though. I always remember him looking kind of red-toned. But not, like, burned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just
like you can pick up, like, this
sun
person
kiss.
has olive tone to their skin.
No Italian, no Spanish.
White. No Italian either?
Nope.
Cool. That's cool.
So we'll just jump to me now.
Yeah, jumping to Heather.
I don't have any information on my biological father's side. But I did cave and do a DNA test.
Cool.
So, a lot of it, yes, it's 99% European.
So then that's got to be on both sides then? We know Mommy, you know what
Mommy's got a lot of British and German, but one thing Mom didn't have is I've got a strong amount of Irish in me.
Oh,
which is that's funny that you were like, oh, you've got to have some. No, I've got a lot of Irish.
Interesting. I bet that comes from your dad then.
Yeah, and Scandinavian and Finnish.
Oh.
I just think it's so cool that, I don't know, like we do have different dads, so obviously we have different in us. Mm-hmm. But we were literally raised exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like the whole nature versus nurture.
Oh, yeah.
Thing's always been super, super interesting to me because...
That is cool. We can talk about that in a podcast episode.
That's a good... Yeah, make a note of that.
I'll make
That's
a note.
Gonna be
but, to play on that dark thing, the dark complexion, and I know most of the population, most, not all, has some small percentage of African, but I have 0.6% sub-Saharan African.
Huh. Well, it's
so
coming in
maybe
strong.
Sub-Saharan, huh?
It must be in your tone, and that's it.
That's about it. Otherwise, I am very European.
Yeah,
not just white.
very,
very European with British, Irish, French, German. I actually didn't have anything.
French?
Nope. I had nothing pop up on my French side. Not enough detectable of French, but 22% German.
I want to, if I ever did one.
53.2% British, Irish.
Wow.
If I ever did one, I want to know what percentage of Italian There's got to be an explanation for my love of wine and carbs. There has to be something in there.
Or you could be like me and be French. Like, okay, when I went vegan, my aunt was like, what? We're French Canadian. Like, you know what I was like? What? We're French. No butter? No cheese? What will we eat? What will we do?
The world is over.
I don't know if I've ever had a proper Irish meals. I don't even know.
Have you ever had an Irish car bomb?
Yeah.
Close enough.
I have.
Wait, I think my alcohol tolerance, that's where it comes in. Is the Irish
Okay,
side.
okay.
Because I can put down like 3 bottles and be alright.
Oh, then I am not Irish.
Does the whiskey suit you?
I really like whiskey, actually.
Me too.
Which origin cannot handle their alcohol?
Because that's what you are.
I'm like,
I don't know.
I really want you to do one. I want both y'all to do one so we can compare.
I
Like,
want to.
because
I
then
want
we'll
to,
definitely
too.
be able to see, like, whoa, you don't have this, but I do,
If
and
anyone
then we
wants
know
to
that's from.
pay for us to do an origin test, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Send us a message.
Mommy.
Not me. I'm good. They need it.
I'm good. All right.
I'm
well,
not
cool.
necessarily opposed to it. It just,
I'm telling
You can
you,
just do you
can
and not
ship
your
it out from my house.
husband.
Well,
He
yeah.
won't even know.
well, he's not like
You just, like,
forbidding me from doing
Pluck
it.
a hair from his head in the night. He'll never know.
No, it's spit.
Oh, well, same.
Just
Swab
like-
him when he's in that room,
No,
his mouth is
you
like...
literally, they
hanging
send you a
open.
little container that you have to.
Oh.
Ew.
Fill up.
You spit into the
Yeah.
container? Ew.
Yep. You
That's-
can't eat or drink for like an hour beforehand.
What if I
It's gotta be
have...
pure
What if I've
saliva.
had
Yeah.
coffee and they're like, you're 100% coffee bean?
Colombian.
No, I like that Sumatra blend.
That's funny.
All right, you guys. So obviously we're all very different. What do you guys think, like, about our features? I feel like we have some features that look similar.
It's not good to use my features
And
right
some
now.
that look
I am super
different.
red and flushed and everything.
That's
so
what
don't
my
take
dad's.
that into
Maybe that's an
account
Irish thing. Do Irish get flushed easily?
when they're sick.
I think it's hard. It's hard with right now. The purple hair really throws it off.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
So-
this is from my
But-
ancestors.
If you look at pictures of you, like especially
Younger?
before the weight loss,
Yeah.
and when you had the brown long hair,
It's coming back.
I don't know. I think your features are stronger, and it wasn't so prominent then.
Mhm.
That you, Mom, and Heather all look so much alike. Like I'm like
You look a lot like
You look a
have-
lot like your dad.
I feel like you've always looked a lot like
I
your
am the
dad.
female version of my dad.
Yeah.
And I have a sister on my dad's side, which is really, really weird because growing up, well, it wasn't weird that I have a sister. But growing up, I grew up with these two sisters that looked nothing like me. Like, I never had anybody that looked like me. Like, and that was just what it was. It was no big
Different,
deal.
You have a different body type too.
Yeah.
Yes, any way possible, I was different. I had skin issues, they didn't. I had issues keeping weight on, they didn't. Like
At all.
Well, we had
did
the
not.
issue of packing it on.
Yeah, we did not have issues keeping
I caught
weight
up,
off.
don't worry. So then whenever, I want to say I was 20, whenever I met my sister, because she didn't have a relationship with our dad until later in life also. But to see her, if you see like a black and white photo, it has to be black and white to really see the resemblance.
Mm-hmm.
But she looks almost exactly like me. But she is pale and redhead.
Mm-hmm.
But so it has to be black and white to really be able to like take the.
No, I think you
The
guys have
edge
that,
on.
and your brother too.
Yeah,
Actually,
your brother-
But your brother
But
was
it's
a little like
it
your
was
dad.
really, really weird to me to be like, whoa,
Yeah,
that person looks like me.
Yeah, that's
Like-
cool. That's kind of cool.
So
I feel like for me, over the years, it's just changed. Like, oh, you look just like this person. You look, and then like people would tell me like, oh, I look just like mom. But then when I was around like my aunts on my dad's side, I looked just like them.
Mhm.
You know, and I feel like I have little.
It has
bits
a
of
lot to
both.
do, yeah, with just who you're around at that point in time too. Because when the boys
Yeah.
are with me, I get told how much they both look just like me, and I'm like, no.
I've
Yeah,
never
if you put
ever
both,
had that.
if you put like you and their father, and then put them in between, Matt looks like you, and Jack looks like his dad.
Yeah.
And they're little in betweeners, but with my girls,
We got asked the other day, are they twins? I'm like,
they don't even look like twins at all.
You know, it's
no,
funny.
they're not twins.
That's so funny.
Funny story. Two actually. I was by myself at Ariana's gymnastics, and this is how much she does not look like me. I just took her to gymnastics class, no big deal, and I noticed this guy keeps like looking at her, not like in a creepy way, but he keeps looking at her and looking back at me, and this goes on for probably close to the whole class. So finally the class ends, and she walks up to me, and he's like, is that so? I don't want to say his name. Is that so-and-so's daughter? And I was like, are you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's so funny.
Her father was nowhere around. She looks so much like her father that somebody picked her out of a crowd and was like, he had a baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it does look like he had a baby.
The guy flat out had no idea that he even had any kids.
Same thing too.
Until he saw the kid. Right. Her sister on her dad's side looks like a twin.
And they do.
They used to not him. Like, they used to little bit features resemble each other, but now it's like, whoa.
They both look like him in his side of the family.
I see pictures that come up, and because I'm very close with her mother, so like I see her Facebook and this, that, and the other. But I see pictures that come up, and I'm like, oh, when was that? And I was like, oh, that's not my kid.
That's not mine. Yeah.
But on the flip side, Zoe, who is not biologically mine.
Oh,
looks like
yes, this is true.
I am told all the time how much she looks like me, and I'm like, isn't that funny?
I think it's adorable.
Like, she's got the long legs,
but she very much is more like you. That's so funny. My daughters both look most like their father, but one of them is looking a little bit more like me. I feel like Nova, my older daughter,
she's getting there. It's in the past 2 years, there's been a good change.
Annika still looks so much like her dad's side of the family, and they both have more round face.
She reminds me a lot of Katie.
Side. Oh yeah, I agree. Well, and Chris's mom a lot. She looks like Chris's mom, which is just awesome. It's kind of cool. Like, you a little this, you a little that. You get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit. Okay.
I can start that sentence and the boys finish that sentence.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
No, it's not adorable because they don't do what I'm telling them to do. They still throw the fit.
Oh, they're like giving you sass.
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
So this has been really interesting to kind of delve deeper, learn a few new things. I know we learned some new things on our mom's side. I definitely learned some new things on my father's side, and I want to keep looking. I want to keep knowing. I want to keep digging. So it kind of just jump starts all of that. How about some announcements? So. January, Heather, update us.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, actually.
Yes.
And I like it.
Yeah. that's what I want to hear.
And I'm not really struggling too much as far as what to eat.
Cool.
Last night was rough because at my friend's wedding, I was like, surely they'll have a salad I can eat or something.
No.
Not a single salad. Like, bless her heart, she... Obviously, it wasn't just like, oh, you need to have vegan food. I'm not going to do that.
No,
I
should
have prepared. But I didn't.
Bring a snack. Can't tell you how many times I brought
barbecue,
cashews in your purse.
Yeah.
All barbecue, all southern sides. And I was like, oh my god, it smells so good.
Oh.
And I was like, can we go?
Listen to that. Angie stayed strong. And how long?
I didn't have any.
First off, they didn't even
almost
eat.
3 hours.
Have you had any sheets at all?
No.
She's been so good. I know.
And
she likes it, which is amazing.
I will say, I totally had an Impossible Whopper on the way home last night.
Fantastic.
Because
yes, Impossible
I was
Whopper.
Starving.
That works though.
Yeah.
I bet you were starving.
And
but
bonus,
I'm doing really well on it. And
you've lost weight.
Yes.
And to be clear,
not enough to like see, but
she's not restricting.
No,
she's eating if she wants. She wants a cheese sandwich. She's having a cheese sandwich, but she's having a plant-based cheese. She's not watching anything. She's not like necessarily watching her fats or trying to like super eat healthily. She's literally just swapping plant-based options for her old animal-based options that she used to eat, and she's losing weight just from that. So, how are you feeling?
It's probably not a good week to ask.
Other than being sick this week.
Yeah.
I felt very, very good on it. Like I said, except I'm very run down right now. But that has a lot to do with the strep, I'm sure.
Yeah, drink your tea. Drink your echinacea tea.
I don't like echinacea.
It's so good for you.
That's I have my cinnamon warming tea I've been drinking.
That sounds really good too, though.
And I like that.
Oh, that cinnamon tea?
It's
Yeah,
good.
it sounds good. I like cinnamon. I'm not supposed to have it, though. It makes my throat itchy.
Oh, right. We were talking about how
allergic. You shouldn't drink it.
It's one of my intolerances. I did do an intolerance test. It's one of my intolerances.
Well, do a DNA one.
I like it. I'll be like, it's okay. I'll be fine.
It's not okay.
I can't not have my chai. Cannot have it.
See, I like chai. I just don't like cinnamon.
Well, chai's got cinnamon and clove and some other stuff in there.
But things
Spices.
that are, like, my
stuff.
go-to coffee is chai, but things that are, like, more traditionally cinnamon, I just...
I love it. No,
It's very yummy tea. And it's what I ate all day Monday.
What about...
Oh wait, podiversary!
Yes!
Next week is our 1-year podiversary. So I'll tell you this. We have some grandiose plans of all of these things that we want to do, but knowing us, we'll probably do about a third of them. But we're going to try, and there will be
so
cake.
Optimistic.
Or pie. There might be pie. There might be pie.
Shannon wants pie. It's going to be pie.
And we're going to ask our mommy if she'll come on. So, Mommy, if you see this before we message you, don't be shy. Come on. And I thought maybe we could do, like, what?
Maybe I
Q&A?
won't look so rough next week.
You'll be looking fabulous. Maybe we'll have to
what
get
we want
fancy.
to do is, like, a Q&A. Like, ask us anything. I can't think of what, like, the game show is, but there's a game show. It's pretty much like, who is the most budget friendly, or who's most likely to spend on this, and it's like everybody chooses.
Oh, like who's most likely to get in a fight? Who's the best driver? Who's that?
Yeah,
kind
that
of
kind of
yeah.
thing.
And with Mom in here too, that'd be fun too.
I thought it would be fun.
Thinks.
We're gonna try to get our mommy on board so she can be like our host or our game show host essentially. And so if you have any questions or you want to be like anything, any ideas, put them in the comments because we really want to have fun with it. We're super
anything
excited.
that we've not gone into enough that you want more detail on. Just any kind of questions that you might have. So it doesn't all have to be like the whole game show setup. Like
anything, any inquiry.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Triumphs, the best part.
You can start. We'll go in the same order.
Oh, okay. So my triumph, which also could have been Heather's trial, was that we're still adjusting to moving back into our house, which it seems like it shouldn't take that long, except for my husband and I work completely different schedules. Like, I am up at 6:30 and he is going to bed at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and he works the weekends and I work weekdays. So it's kind of hard to do stuff that's like two-person stuff. And Heather came over today and helped me put my daughter's bunk bed up, and it was awesome because yay, finally got done. But I did accidentally drop one of the rails on her head, and it was totally an accident.
Sure.
And I said, "Oh, your face! Be careful!" And
I was
she's
like, "Nope, that was my head." She was like, "Oh, it got you." I'm like, "Yeah."
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So I started my day out with a concussion.
No, it wasn't that bad, right?
I mean, it hurt.
She wasn't concussed.
That's why I kind of sat there for a minute. I was like,
"Oh God,
okay.
I felt so bad." Listen, I'm no
a metal
builder,
frame.
okay?
Metal.
It was metal.
Your head's hard enough. It's fine.
You're fine.
Brush
I
it
mean,
off.
it hurt.
But it's up now, so she's not like a rat's nest in the floor anymore, which is amazing because it happens to be my child that struggles with keeping things. Which fine. I'm not even picky. You know what I'm saying? Like if it bothers me, it's not good. Okay, it's not good. Literally was living like in a rat's nest with like we just
little
made
feral
her clean
child
it.
going walk in there.
But like
bad.
You know, we made her clean it up, and it's like candy wrappers, Boston baked beans, not like real beans, but like the candy bean. They're like a candy peanuts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mom used to love them, and she probably still does. She just doesn't have them often. Like Boston baked beans everywhere, sucker sticks with no sucker on them. Like, what
I
the
will
heck?
lose my mind.
You just cleaned your room. It's been like 2 days. Like, why is this here? You know?
No, yeah.
She is like a rodent.
Oh God.
We recently went through. I won't like shame the child, but one of my children.
I cleaned her room. It was rough.
And there was legitimately at the end of her bed. There's like a foot rail, and apparently,
Well, that's the hideaway spot.
Oh no!
Apparently, she thought it was a good idea. She was apparently done with her gum to stick it under the Wii and stick it to her bed, and I was like,
gross.
mind blown.
This is why we have ants. Come
Right.
on.
Like, I pay enough in pest control. Can we not test the services?
Oh, I need to get mine started back up again, because those mosquitoes are coming out. You know those buggies are coming out.
Mm-hmm. What? Whose turn is it now?
Whomever's.
Did you go? It's your turn.
It's mine?
Yep. What?
My trial.
Triumph.
That's what I meant.
We're not talking about bad stuff. We are optimistic and happy.
Okay,
right
good
now.
stuff.
This is
I
good.
graduated Friday.
Yay!
Oh, it was so awesome. I didn't tell you this, okay? First off, congratulations. That was amazing. But I'm trying to do the video, right, of the graduation, and they're like calling all the names, and they say Heather Richards, and Mommy's like, "Ah," and I was like, what? I missed it. I'm listening for them to say Heather Taylor, which is Mom was like, she hasn't been Taylor for a long time.
Yeah.
I totally missed it. I'm trying to look through the thing. You were like halfway across the stage by the time I realized that you are Heather Richards. Terrible.
I think it's either your
funny.
phone or Mom's phone that I've seen it, that I'm still Shannon Hanks.
It's my phone. One day I'll remember
It
who
has
you are.
been 10 years.
I know. I'm sorry.
Because I was married before, so I went from one married name to the next.
Yeah, same.
So, I'm not changing it again. It's not happening.
But I didn't fall and bust my butt once.
Yeah, you did great.
So
That was
And you
my
looked
biggest
nice.
fear whenever I walked for high school. But
My graduation gown was too big and made me look even bigger than I am. And I was
Everyone
like, "Fuck."
does though. Dude, it's like a muumuu essentially.
It's
the graduation
right. Why
gown.
is that
I don't
And
know.
it looks so bad. It made me look so much bigger. And
You looked good
it was-
underneath it.
Yeah, underneath
We
it.
got some. Oh no, you were
We
still
didn't
in
get-
it.
yeah.
we should have got some afterward. Like no thing.
It's
on
fine, though.
Pictures.
we had a nice dinner afterwards.
Oh,
We
was
did.
so nice.
Oh no, my dinner.
I know, poor thing.
I asked for it to go for my ramen because I had barely eaten even half of it. And she was like, okay, I'll take it. I was like, okay, cool.
Like thinking she was going to go box it up for her.
She put a beer in it.
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
I wanted it so bad.
It was just floating.
That's like what? Have her take it out. Like,
I was like, ooh, I don't know whose hands been. He was like, mine. I was like, yeah, but before you.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Who knows? Ugh.
No.
I don't really have any big triumph this week.
You
I
had dinner.
survived.
No.
Dinner.
We went and we had hibachi.
It was nice.
It was, we had whatever, ramen, whatever you guys had, but I had
Asian.
hibachi.
We had Asian food.
Asian food.
It was yummy.
It was.
Mhm.
It was a good place.
And I really want some more ramen.
We had ice cream afterwards too.
We did ice
We were
cream
gluttons.
Sundays yesterday
We
because
went
you guys
home and I passed out.
Aww.
You guys
I'm
got my
been so
kids
tired.
on the whole ice cream kick whenever you guys were talking about it.
We didn't even go. We were gonna go to the little ice cream place next door, but we just dropped Nova off and we're like, sorry about your luck. She had our sleepover. And okay, I should preface that with saying we're at the dinner and literally we're all having a good time. The food comes out. She's done with her dinner and she's like, Mom, when can we go? I'm supposed to be at my sleepover. And I'm like, you chose to come to dinner. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to rush nothing. And so afterwards, you're like, oh, we should get ice cream. And she's like, oh,
Especially since it was not a cheap dinner.
No.
It was not
I
Chili's.
told
It
them
was
that.
not grab and go.
It was fancy dinner. And I told her that too. And it's like, you could have went to your friends. So we dropped her off and we got ice cream. But she did get to have some of the ice cream today. But we had to be like, haha, we get ice cream and you don't.
You wanted to rush.
I know. But it was
Yeah.
good. We got chocolate truffle cashew by So Delicious brand. Oh my god, so good.
Yeah?
It's got like
Oh,
cake
that
batter or
salted
something in it.
caramel cashew.
That is one of our.
Ooh,
The cashew ones are so good.
I went
there's
last
a
night and I bought
snickerdoodle
so many
one
different kinds.
with chunks in it too. If you ever see that one, try it.
Okay.
It's so good. Anyways, what did you say?
Oh, I said we went last night and I bought
Yeah.
all kind of different ice creams and all the toppings and everything with
so
the waffle
fun.
bowls. The
I
girls
now
are
have no
excited.
room in my freezer because I went grocery shopping today, so I can't get any extra things.
I have plenty of room because I did not go grocery shopping.
Oh, man.
Literally last week, I know the lady at the grocery store, like I grew up with her daughter, but she started teasing me and because I would come in like every single day for what I needed for dinner, and she's like, "All right, I'll see you tomorrow." I'm like, "Yep."
I have to go after this, even though I went this morning. Ugh, I know. I was
All right.
a sucker.
All right. Well, I
We'll
guess
see you
that is
next
it.
week
We
for
will
our podiversary.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.